What is the future of the ATP Tour? In today's video, I want to share my opinion on what I think is going to happen once the big three are gone. Federer is almost done. Nadal and Djokovic have a few years left. In my opinion, Djokovic has a few more years than Nadal left. But let's talk maybe 2 to 5 years. These guys are going to be gone. And in my opinion, what's going to happen on the ATP Tour is going to be very similar to what the WTA Tour looks like right now. And the reason is we're going to see a lot of different Grand Slam champions. We're going to see a lot of different Masters 1000 winners, and it's going to be overall a very strong field. The top 100 is going to be very deep, but it's also going to be very evenly spread out as far as the level of the players is concerned. The players that are going to dominate, in my opinion, are going to be Medvedev, Tsitsipas, and Zverev. I also think that Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz might be in that mix of players who can always be a threat to win a Grand Slam title. But other than that, there's going to be a lot of different champions. And while the hardcore tennis fans are going to love it, they're going to be engaged in tennis just like they were with the big three and even before the big three, I think unfortunately overall the popularity of tennis will decrease. And look, it doesn't mean that the players that are currently established in the top 5 or the players that are trying to get there are not good. No, these are unbelievably talented players, but unfortunately they don't have the same type of popularity as the big three. But I'm not even talking about the big three. Tennis in general was a lot more popular back in the day. The reason why I'm saying this is because if you look at the rankings in the 90s, there were so many superstars in those rankings. We're talking about Sampras, Agassi, Becker, Stich, Lendl, even somebody who wasn't even ranked that high all the time, Henri Leconte, was a superstar. Players like Thomas Muster, Yannick Noah, and I can go on and on of these players who had superstar status. Outside the big three, and I'm going to include Andy Murray in that group too, we really didn't have any superstars. And now, once the big three are gone, we're not going to have any superstars at all. And what do I mean by superstars? Well, these are players who transcend tennis. Names like Serena Williams or Roger Federer have a meaning outside the tennis world. Just like, for example, I'm not a golf fan at all. I don't really know anything about golf, but I know that Tiger Woods is one of the best players. Just like a lot of people who don't know anything about tennis can recognize the name Roger Federer or Serena Williams or some of the names from the past. And unfortunately, I do not believe that players such as Zverev, Tsitsipas, or Medvedev can fill those shoes. They're not going to have that superstar status. They're not going to have that name recognition outside the tennis world. And look, I don't think this is going to be a problem for professional tennis because there are die-hard tennis fans out there who are going to fill the stands, who are going to watch matches on TV, regardless of the big three being there or not. But overall, I think what tennis is going to suffer from, even on the women's side when Serena Williams finally retires, is that true superstar player. I think this is going to be a problem for tennis on a global scale. It's going to hurt its growth, in my opinion. So look, I think the future of the ATP Tour is going to be a transitional phase, maybe similar to the one we had in the early 2000s when Sampras and Agassi were on their way down and Federer wasn't quite at that elite level yet. And we had those few years where Hewitt was #1, Rafter, Moya, Ferrero, or Roddick. I think we're going to see something like that again until the next player comes in that's going to be a little bit more dominating. When that is, I don't know. I think, in my personal opinion, I think this period that's coming up after the big three are gone is going to be much longer than the period we had in the early 2000s.